We can navigate the interface by middle click mouse button, and press shift and middle click for panning, control and middle click for zooming. That's it, simple. Here we can see the outliner. Below the outliner we can see the properties, which is attribute editor in Maya, same kind of. And here we can see the timeline. If we select the cube, you can select the tools here. This is move tool, this is rotation tool, this is scale tool, and this is transform tool, which comes all together. You can rotate, scale, and move all together. Okay, we can, if you observe carefully, you can see that every panel has its own symbol here. See, this is this symbol of viewport, this is the symbol of outliner, this is the symbol of properties panel, this is the symbol of timeline panel. See, if you click on that symbol, it will give a drop down menu of many symbols. Once you can see that if I click 3D viewport symbol, this panel convert into 3D viewport. Same goes for everything. So this is very one of the handy tool in Blender, right? Yeah, we can move the object by using G for grab, R for rotation, S for scale. We can stick to one axis by pressing G and pressing Y for Y axis. It will stick to only Y axis. And press G and press X for only X axis. Same goes for scale and rotation. Oh, I hope this is very simple for everyone. Yeah. Press numpad 1, numpad 3, numpad 7 for changing views. Odd numbers. Only numpad keys. We can snap the objects by pressing Ctrl and shifting the objects. See, only it is snapping to grid. Or you can on this button, magnet button. Shortcut is Ctrl and moving. You can see my shortcuts on the screen. Yeah. We can change the pivot of the object by clicking this button and affect only origin. It will available every time here only. If I click this button, if I move anything, it will only the origin point will move. See, you can keep it anywhere. We can nicely snap it by pressing Ctrl and changing the origin. Right. And turn off this button. Make sure turn off this button. If I manipulate anything, it will manipulate from this origin. Cool. In Blender, we have two object modes. One is object mode and another is edit mode. Object mode is for basically manipulating the overall object, and edit mode is for manipulating the object itself. We can adjust the vertices, faces, and edges. Here we can select edge mode, face mode, and vertex mode. Shortcut is left side 1, 2, 3 keys. 1 for vertex, 2 for edge, 3 for face. You can manipulate anything, but make sure that don't add any object in edit mode. Add any object in only object mode. It is very important. Yeah. Now I'm deleting everything. Press A for selecting everything in the viewport, or you can press A in outliner for selecting anything, and X for deleting. Delete. You can add objects here by pressing add and mesh, or simply you can press shift A. I'm adding a cube now and going to front view. Okay, we are animators, right? Now coming to animation, we need to press I for adding key. See, now a keyframe is added. If I shift the position and play it, it will come to our default position because we shifted the position but didn't add key. Now I have to press I again. Now it will stick to that place. And changing the position again and pressing I again. Now a default animation will come. Instead of that trouble, you can add auto keying. It will add a automatically key for you. This is all basic stuff you can learn easily. Now how to set up a graph editor for animators, right? Simply go between two panels. You here you will get a symbol like this. Okay, right click on it and press horizontal split. It will get a split like this. Just left click it. And remember I told you press the symbols for manipulating the panels. Here simply press the symbol here and choose graph editor. Graph editor is also one of the panel. Yeah, graph editor came. But yeah, it is very confusing, right? So many things happening at once. Even I select only one axis, everything will come. To change that, go to edit, preferences and animation. Here come down and for F curve. By default two options will be off automatically. You need to change the unselected opacity. See in graph editor the opacity is manipulating. Make sure to turn this opacity all to 0 and make sure select these two options. Otherwise even you select any curve, every curve will be selected automatically. If you are on this option, only one curve will be selected. Great. Here in graph editor, you can same as viewport, you can navigate the graph editor by same keys. Shift for panning, control for zooming, and press home for default position. Same in timeline. We can manipulate the tangents automatically in weighted tangents by pressing G and grabbing it, or rotating it, or scaling it. In graph editor also, if I press G and X for X axis, it will only stick to X axis. If I press G and Y for, it will stick to only Y axis. The tangents. I hope a graph editor will become easy now. And Blender have three interpolation types: constant, which is step mode in Maya; linear, where the tangent will be linear; and Bezier. And we have also many dynamic effects by default. See, these are two cubes, right? I'm going to frame 15 and R for rotation and Y for Y axis. Okay. And I'm copying this keyframe by Control C and going to 30, Control V, right? This is the default animation any software will be given. Now press T for translation types and go to dynamic effects. Now press bounce. See what happens now. It is the automation that Blender gives. This is the object will go to extreme position and come back will to keyframe. Elastic. Bounce. See, you can do multiple things like that in with automation. Very easy. I hope everything is very clear now until now. Now everything is great, but I need to animate with controllers in Blender. I will take a new file and delete everything and press collection, file and append. Append is one of the importing options in Blender. Use append and go to your rig. See, this is one of the wall rig I downloaded from Agora community. If I select this rig, it will give a bunch of options. Just go to collections and select the one of the collection. I will explain detail how to choose the collection, what is collections, how it is designed. I will tell. Yeah. Now we learned object mode and edit mode, right? Now we are going to look into third mode, which is pose mode. Here in the pose mode only we can access controllers. Otherwise we cannot access controllers. Same same as object. If I press G for grabbing, R for rotation, S for scaling. Simple stuff. I'm turning on my auto key and keeping the ball up. You can manipulate the timeline by dragging this option. I'm manually typing 24 frames. And Z for Z axis, keeping the ball down. Before I copied before I copied and pasted it manually, right? Here I copy this key and paste it. Now we can, instead of copying pasting, press Shift D, which is duplicate. It will duplicate that keyframe and it will automatically paste here. See? Now if I toggle this button, overlays will turn on and off. And main feature of the Blender is if I right click on anything, we can add it to quick shortcuts. I'm right click on it and go into quick favorites. Okay, and now I'm pressing Q. Q for now I just added that option, right? It automatically came to these quick favorites. I can easily access that button from anywhere. Main feature in Blender is by default is we can get pose breakdowner, which is twin mission in Maya. If I press this button, it will give pose breakdown automatically. It is a great feature in Blender. or you can press Shift E and toggle your mouse and press left click for applying that pose and copying that keyframe here. See, automatically it is creating keyframes. And again, I'm bringing my graph editor just like before and pressing home button for clarity purpose. I'm deleting every keyframe. Okay. I'm simply animating it. And now it is the big question how to free the handle types. Press V button for freeing handle types and press choose free. You can simply manipulate the tangents. Now we have learned post breakdowner and how to manipulate the graph editor very easily. Within seconds, a one animation is created. And if I want to key this graph Z location and press and go to graph editor and press I and choose only selected curve. If it will only affect the selected curve, it it will does not key another curves. If any doubts until now, please do messages.
Hi, Hemanth.
Yes, sir.
We have two queries.
Yes, sir.
First query is why we use pose mode.
Why use pose mode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, in Maya, we automatically select the rigs and we can manipulate from the object mode as usually. But in Blender, it is divided care and it is organized carefully for clarity purpose. Okay. If I go to pose mode, I cannot access any object in the viewport. I'm adding a cube and I'm selecting this ball rig in object mode and going to pose mode. Now I cannot access this cube because it makes the animation very simple. I cannot access this uh, object of the ball. We can only focus on the controllers without manipulating the objects without the fear of manipulating the objects. And another thing I wish to say is we are in solid mode, and if we go to next to solid mode, which is here, it will preview materials. If I go to viewport shading, it will go to wireframe method. This is the render method. I hope you get clarity why we are using pose mode now.
One second question is
Yes,
in Maya we have default tangents, right? Like weight tangent is by default is off, but in
yes, wait
Blender
a
weight
minute.
tangent is by default is on. So how we
Yes, sir.
can off the weight tangents?
There is no option for turning off the weight engines.
Okay, I hope you got your answer. Last
Yes.
question is, can you explain the graph editor part? I mean, to work on every single axis individually.
Yeah. Now I animated the y-axis, y location. and I'm going to delete every curve except Y. Okay, only Y axis is animated now. Now I'm pressing I again. If I press X axis, I'm going to keyframe 12 only for X curve. Okay, only for X curve, and press I again. Only selected curve. It will give options for all channels or only selected curve. Choose selected curve for applying key for only this curve, only for X axis, not any other curve. So it will not be disturbed and overall animation will not be disturbed. If I press and manipulate the curve, you can easily animate using different kind of curves without disturbing overall animation.
Great, Hemant. I hope you got your answer. What was the... Yeah, so another question is here. Hemant, another question is here.
Yes,
You are using the same as a twin machine. What was the name and
post
where
break
did
donor,
you access it? Oh, okay, yeah.
post break donor, and that post break donor shortcut is Shift E, Shift E. And I'm not doing anything. I'm just hovering the mouse. And if we click left click, it will automatically apply the pose. And main thing is that post background does not work on objects. It will only work on controllers. If I press this cube and press Shift T, nothing will happen. But if I press this rig in pose mode, only in pose mode, if I press Shift T, it will automatically go to twin mission. It is a default option in Blender. You can check this.
I hope
Yes, sir.
you got your answer. Next question is how can I see one axis at a time? Because the default we can see all axes.
Yeah,
This is from
that
Graph Editor, right? I hope
yes.
this question is coming from Graph Editor.
See, in default, it will come automatically like this. Okay, if I press any key, if I press any curve, specific curve, nothing will change. Every curve will be visible here automatically. Like we selected all curves in Maya. Even I selected only one curve, every curve will be visible. But to turn off that, we need to go to Edit, Preferences, and Animation. Come to Animation here. Okay, and turn off this F curve opacity all to 0. You can see here it is automatically turning on off the opacity, and choose this option for only selecting one curve. Now you can see only selected curve will be selected and no other curve will be visible. That's the answers.
Yeah, thank you, Hemant. Hemant, last question is how to change pivot point any object.
Yeah, again, to change the pivot point, just come near this icon, tool icon, and choose effect only origin. After pressing this, If I change and selecting the move button, it will only affect the origin, not object. Simply snap it to ground by pressing Control and moving, and turn off this origin button. Now see, origin is default by default that position. What we change? Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, that's all. You can jump to next chapter.
Yeah. And the next chapter is adding a basic material. In this tab, in this panel, properties panel, come near bottom of the this icon. It is shown as material properties, and simply press new for adding a new material. And I'm changing a color, but it is not showing in viewport because, as I said before, it is in solid preview. Now I simply need to go to material preview for turning on the textures. It is not a render preview, but it is only show materials. If I go to next to material preview, it is render preview. It is the actual output. Now we don't have any lights right now. It is the basic of adding any material. You can change the metallic roughness, etc. Yeah. And another one is adding a simple light. By pressing Shift A for adding an object, go to mesh and press for plane for making a base. I'm turning off the overlays button by clicking this button. Automatically it will be turned off. Or simply you can go to animation tab for animation interface. Yes. Shift A for adding and choose camera for adding a camera. See, one object came. This is the object icon for camera. And main thing I forgot to say is, if I add any object and scaling anything by x-axis, do crazy stuff. See, if I press Alt G, it will come to default position. If I press Alt R, it will come to default rotation. If I press Alt S, it will come to default scaling. It is a very handy tool for animators because we manipulate many controllers. We need to zero out the every controller. Now we can simply zero out the every animation. Yeah. In one view, can if I split this panels, now we can see only one part of the menu bar. If I scroll down using scroll button, it will automatically scroll. It is many people confuse here. Now I'm going to material preview or render preview. I'm selecting this camera and pressing Alt G and Alter etc. and numpad 0 button for camera preview. If I'm scrolling out, it is automatically in 2D zoom. No fear of getting out of camera. Select in the camera and press G for grabbing and Z for Z axis. R and X for X axis. And if I press number 90, it will automatically go to 90 degrees. And if I want it in negative, press minus after the pressing number. And quickly showing and again showing edit mode. In edit, go to preferences. In key map, choose this option for easy accessing of object modes. If I press, if I click this button, it will be turned off in by default. If I turn this on, if I press tab, it will give a pie menu. Before it will directly shift from object to edit mode. Now if I press tab, it will give a pie menu. It is the wonderful shortcut you need to remember. Now I'm going to edit mode and pressing 2 for edge, E for extrude, and press Z for Z axis. It will stick to only Z. And selecting this edge and pressing Ctrl B for bevel. See, now scroll down the mouse button for adding loops. Right click and shade smooth for shading it, just like a number 3 button in Maya. Now Shift A. It is in Outliner. It became very confusion, right? Just to Outliner organization, right click on it, create a new collection, and make it a scene. Now drag and drop this plane to scene collection. Now it will become a clarity. Make it to object. Only objects will be present in that collection. In that, by pressing this scene and shift A again for adding light. See, I added a quick sunlight. Rotate it for shadow purpose. You can, just like I said before, this is the attribute editor, right? You can simply press this icon. If I select the camera, if I select camera, it will give a camera option. If I select the sunlight, it will give a light option. If I select any object, it will give a object option. It is the attribute editor here. Yeah. By if I press this data properties, we can access the strength of the light, color, etc. Before animating any sequence, it is important that we need to check our frame rate. In Blender, we can check the frame rate here in the output properties. Mainly uses three icons. This is for changing origins. This is for render properties. This is for output properties. Sorry, this is the for output properties, and this is for object properties. I'm going to output properties now. Here we can change the frame rate here. This is for camera resolution. See, the camera is linking manually here. Aspect ratio. Coming to render properties, we need it is important that the sample should be 64 or maximum 500. Otherwise, if we render anything, it will be very hectic for our PC. So maximum number is 500. Choose output properties and choose your desired file format. This is for video properties. This is for You can know PNG image files, JPG, EXR, etc. This is the file path. I'm choosing desktop as file path. Now I need to get only play best, not render, but I need to get only play best. How can I get it? Here, beside object mode, you will get a three dots. Click on it and go to view and click on viewport render animation. This is the quick play best. See, now it came images because we kept the output file as PNGs. So it will also affect play best. Now go to video format and choose encoding to QuickTime. Now I'm viewport rendering again. See, the viewport, the render came here. I don't have any place, that's why it's not playing. Yeah, this is up to play besting the animation. If I go to here render and render animation, it will give a final render output. This is about quick adding a light setup and rendering a image, changing the frame rate. Make sure that you animate what your desired frame rate here before animating only. We can also, but let's imagine you animated in 60 frames by mistake. Now you want that animation in 24 fps. I will show that method in upcoming classes. We can change after animation also. Today class is all about basics, right? Next we will deep dive into characters. It will become more interesting. Many features will come.
Thank you, Hemant. Uh,
Yeah.
that's all about today. So, upcoming weeks, we're going to discuss about those all topics one by one. Today's topic was those all points, already all covered. So, if you have doubt or anything, you can ask on comment box. And if you want to preview the session record, we'll upload the recording file by tomorrow, the same tab of the workshop on websites. So, next week, we're going to cover every single points that's mentioned on my display. So one question here, Hemant, that
Yes, sir.
someone is asking about mirroring.
Okay.
Uh, how we can mirror? Like I don't know what exact kind of mirror he is asking. Is animation mirror or other stuff? Would you like to elaborate a little bit? What mirror you are asking?
Did we get that elaboration, sir?
No, I'm asking. Like I don't know. Like I'm not getting any replies. But I hope it's an animation workshop, so I hope he's asking about animation mirror.
Yeah. It is crazy stuff right now. See, don't get confused. We will break down
Hemant, you
this
can share your
character.
screen again.
Yeah. Can you see my screen, sir?
Yeah, everyone can see.
Yeah. 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 It is a crazy interface right now. Don't get confused. See, now we are only talking about mirror, right? There is a button here called X. Okay. This is the mirror option. If I toggle this button and do any stuff, automatically it will go to another controller also. I hope this is the mirror option you are asking. Otherwise, and I just turned off that mirror option. Now I'm changing this curve. I simply Control C for copying and selecting the opposite curve with namespace. Namespace should be correct in the rig. Then only it will work. Now I'm selecting this controller, opposite controller of that rig. No, press Control Shift V for mirroring. Quick mirror. It is a. I will more elaborate these options in next class. Next class is all about character. You will get many answers from there. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thanks, Hemant. Next question is like, is there any option to scale manipulator?
Scale manipulator.
Yeah. As like Maya, we can scale plus minus, right?
Yes. See, now I'm getting manipulator this size and go to edit preferences and go to viewport. Go now we can see gizmo size here. If I increase this, only maximum 200 it will be available. By def by default it will be 50 or something like that. If we press it, increase it, only maximum up to 200. Yeah. And another thing I forgot to mention. Now we are using the- see this cube is in global mode right now. We even we now we don't have any tools, right? Just press T for bringing out the toolbar. N for channel box. You can easily access the channel box here. This is the channel box in Blender. And press again N for hiding it. See, now we are in global mode, right? I'm rotating it even though we are in global mode. Now I want to go to local mode, which is object mode in Maya. Object now press on this global and choose local. Now we can easily manipulate this controller in local axis. Yeah, yes, sir.
Last question for today's sessions.
Yeah,
Is there any buffer curve option as like Maya?
I didn't understand.
Buffer curve, like on Maya graph editor, we can see the curve history, right? On Blender, is
Okay.
there such
In
options?
Blender, no, sir.
No.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah. I hope Didi, I don't know, like Didi, someone asking this question. I hope you got your answer.
yeah, yeah.
So is there any other doubt or questions? So we have time still. So you can ask your question if you have for today's class. Otherwise, yeah. Can we change the pivot point on a D controller too?
Yes, I will show now. See, I'm deleting everything and appending again. Going to pose mode. Now, wonderful question. Whoever he asked. In Blender, we can rotate from different origins for temporary purpose. We can also change permanent pivot point, and we can also change temporary pivot points. And now I'm showing temporary pivot points. Okay, just see this cube. If I press this button here, transform pivot point, we will get a bunch of options. This is the median point, individual point. It is almost same. Now, if I get 3D cursor here and rotating this cube, it will rotate it from the 3D cursor. 3D cursor is something in Blender. It will be in default. Just I need to right click, shift right click anywhere to change the position. It will automatically change. Shift S for cursor options. The shift S is for specifically for this cursor. This is the shortcut for cursor, say tool for cursor. Shift S for many options. Cursor to selected and cursor to world origin. It will come to default position. Cursor to active, same thing. See, this cursor is shifting positions. We can change the positions by pressing shift S, cursor to uh, world origin. Now we can manipulate this using this cursor. We can change it to temporary pivot. Now I want, sorry. See, I cannot access anything because we are in cursor tool right now. Now we have to select move tool and select this object. Okay, come to pose mode. And now I want to rotate this controller from here. I want it is as origin. By default, we will get it will be in individual origins or median point. Okay. Now just simply change it to 3D cursor and rotate it now. See, the controller also is rotating from that origin. Now I want it to rotate from here. You can simply rotate from here. This will deeply dive into next class also, change adding temporary pivots, etc. I hope you got the answer.
Thank you, Hemant. Is there any questions? Hemant, someone is asking, you already covered this topic, like how to switch perspective view and camera view.
Yeah,
Any shortcuts there?
yeah. Just press. See, now we are in pose mode, right? I'm trying to add a camera now, not adding because in pose mode or edit mode we cannot add anything. Only in object mode we can add stuff. Now another thing is cursor, right? Now if I add anything, it will automatically generated from here. So that's why it is ideal for to make it is in world origin. Now I'm creating a camera. Press 0 for camera point of view. Okay, and easily just middle click for going out of camera. See, just middle click for going out of camera. 0 for camera, middle clicking or going out for camera. Yes.
Yeah, I hope you got your answer. Is there any questions? Please ask. Otherwise, we're going to finish today's session. Thank you, Hemant, to making such beautiful sessions and sharing your knowledge and everything.
Thank you, sir.
So, yeah, someone is asking about can you explain in graph editor again? Oh, sorry for that. Who is asking about? Please, the preview the session record we will upload by tomorrow, and you can find everything there. Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining. Have a nice day. Thank you. Thank you, Hemant.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.